Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss the Privy Council's decision into the Vybz Kartel matter. And the first thing that we must recognize at this point, clear and straight and flat out, is that Vybz Kartel had not been acquitted. He was not acquitted. The five judges who took the unanimous decision to dismiss the case said plainly, I want you to send it back to trial. If they had thought he was innocent, he would have been acquitted, full stop, clear and straight. So why did they want it to go back to retrial? Is that something had gone wrong during the procedures of the trial. And guess what? They only found one thing wrong. One dege thing was found wrong in the procedures of the trial. Basically, it was a procedural breach, why they squashed the conviction. Not because any member of those 5 judges thought he was innocent. They were innocent. And what was that procedural breach? Well, it was simple. During the latter part of the trial, after about 3/4 of the trial had gone on, there was a juror on the panel who was paid by Vybz Kartel to bring the verdict in a certain direction towards acquittal. And he was trying to taint some of the other jurors and to let them go for acquittal. Luckily, there were decent people on the jury who thought that this was wrong, and they reported it to Paula Llewellyn, to the members of the prosecution. Now, when that reached the ears of Paula Llewellyn, of course, the trial stopped. And because this was an extremely serious matter, the man was arrested. He was interrogated. The matter was gone into to a great extent. However, this put Paula Llewellyn and the prosecution and the judge in a particular situation. They were now in a quandary because they had a serious decision to make. And if based on the decision they make, it had severe implications either way. They had to decide whether they were going to keep this man on the jury or take him off. But there are severe consequences for taking him off. 1. If they take him off the jury, it is more than likely that they would have to stop the procedures and begin again from scratch. Now, there are 2 versions of this story, and I'm not quite sure which one was true. But here are the 2 versions. When Paula Llewellyn, it is possible that, I think it was 12 jurors, and Paula Llewellyn had asked for him to be removed and that they could continue with 11. But please don't quote me on the 12 because I think it might have been less. But to get confirmation of that, or for them to proceed, they would have to go to the defense lawyer and ask the defense lawyer to agree to the removal of that one juror. I hear that when this was put to Yybz Kartel, who was the criminal lawyer for Vybz Kartel, and when I say criminal lawyer, emphasis on the word criminal. And when they suggested this to Yybz Kartel, he said, no, keep the man on the juror, as a juror on the trial, or we gonna squash the procedures and put somebody else, but start all over again from scratch. Now, after spending several months on trial, right? And the government spending millions upon millions and tons of millions of dollars to proceed with the case to this stage. Now, to squash the case and start again, keep them in jail for another 2 or 3 years till you can get back another slot, to start trying them all over again, is going to take up a lot of time. After so much months, they are sitting in the dock here already. So, Paula Llewellyn and the judge in the case had a choice. Just drop everything and start again, or continue from where they are, wasting so many more months, putting off so many other trials that were to come that had been on the books, and it would be a setback for several years if this was to happen. But so they had to go for the lowest hanging fruit in a case like this, which I think in a sense was, while morally and financially responsible, and in terms of managerially responsible, it was judicially wrong. In other words, it's Chat Buchanan, that criminal lawyer, emphasis on the word criminal, decided that he was going to F up the soup. And that's how him F up the soup. But at the time when him F up the soup, he never even knows him F up the soup, Him think he was just discombobulating the system. And rather trying to just frustrate the prosecution. But in a kind of buck-up state, and that caused the Privy Council to make the decision that it did. Because most of us might remember that during the trial, the one thing that Chat Buchanan hung his hat on, and which he went to the Privy Council with, was the phone. The fact that somebody, one of the policemen, had used the phone. The phone was taken out of the custody, out of storage, and was used. They found other text messages on the phone, which happened after the phone had been in the custody of the police. So he was saying, so Chat Buchanan, from day one, when the trial began, he see that as saying it could be the police who manipulated all of the text, and police who did all of the everything that was on there, and all this talk about the shoes, and he want back him shoes, and so on. Chat was saying maybe it is the police who did everything on it, because it is clear that the police had used the phone. So the police could have make up everything, so just squash the case. And that was the sticking point that Chat Buchanan was using all throughout the case. That was his main thing. But when it went to the Privy Council don't even look upon that. They saw that as a non-issue. They saw every single piece of thing that the procedure that the prosecution had brought forward as being true and correct and procedurally right. So, but the only thing that they found a problem with was that this juror was, after he was found to be tainted, was kept on the jury and was involved in the making of the decision to convict. And no matter how the Privy Council learned people tried, they just couldn't get around that part there. Them tried, but them just couldn't go around that part there. And therefore, because of that one simple breach, well, I wouldn't call it a simple breach, but that was the one thing, the one dege reason why they allowed the appeal to go through, was because of that. They should never have kept, they should have started over the procedures from scratch, or they should have continued with the one less juror, as long as the defense lawyers would agree. So, in other words, while there were little nitpicking here and there, in summarizing the entire case, they found just one fatal flaw. One fatal flaw. So you have to look at it as the general consensus of the Privy Council is clear. We think this man guilty. We know this man guilty. But because of this little fatal flaw, the conviction is not safe just because we keep that one man there. So because of that little procedure, hear what? Send it back to trial. But hear what we do. We are going to free Vybz Kartel of the conviction just because that one little flaw. Not because we think he is innocent in the slightest, but because it look bad that you not do it this way. So here what we do. Do it over and make sure that you don't have no little dirty, tainted juror upon it the next time. That is what the Privy Council said. Go back but do it over, but make sure say you don't have one juror like that the next time around. It's simple. So for people to be going around and saying that Vybz Kartel was acquitted, he was not found innocent. Not in the slightest, he was not found innocent. I want to stop it. Now, here is my personal thinking on this, and I hope the Jamaican government will look into this. Do not bother to try the case over again. Believe me, it has cost over, simple as to take it, and I want you people to understand. It has cost almost $100 million to proceed with this case, to prosecute this case in the first place. Now, Jamaica don't have another $100 million figure spent again. We simply cannot afford it. 4 9mm bullets can solve the case. Easy. And they're a whole lot less expensive, I would think. I would say, release them. Nobody with no further trial. Release them. Send them back into society. You see them piece of low life here, them can never stop killing. Within 3 months, Vybz Kartel going kill again. It is his nature. It is who he is. Him can't avoid it. Toxic people like those can never recover. Therefore, just wait for him to do it again, and this time get him right and take him back to court. That is the plan A. Let's say that is plan A. But I think plan B is even better. More efficient. Don't even wait for them to kill again. Because we know it's going to happen. Because you see these people when them come on road now, them are going to act like superstar. And you have some other little toxic people who's going to lock on to the famous Vybz Kartel clique. And them going to start the badness and toxicity, and it going to turn up because these men now, them go get them street creds and them prison creds in a jail, so them are going to become lieutenants now in the whole system and turn up the madness. So the best way to handle this case, you see like how Dog Pa's case was handled and Mona Road, easy peasy. All we have to do, easy squeeze, no cause no riot, be practical. One by one, just take him out. There are too much lonely roads in Jamaica. There is one 2 a.m. before day that happens in every 24 hours. You have a 2 a.m. where you can kick off doors. Easy when nobody not looking. Nobody with no procedures, release them. The country needs the money to build homes for poor people and to push the economic uptick that we're having now. So that is the way to go. No, whether I don't want to like what me say or not, that's a fool no business. I said what I said and it stands. And the facts are there to back me up. And the way I am dealing with this or I want it to be dealt with is very sound, logical, rational, makes sense. Therefore, the one thing I can say is thank you for listening. I appreciate your visits to my channel. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video.